Hi, this is Bill Monroe of Project Portfolio Excellence Incorporated, and this is part 5 of the How Quality Software Happens series, entitled Capacity for Quality Work. In this video, we're going to talk about how critical it is that we understand our capacity when it comes to project and portfolio operations and management. As with every presentation, we want to start with a review of the number one truth of project portfolio excellence, and that is that the causes of project failure are easy to diagnose and simple to understand. And many of those causes of project failure have to do with capacity-related issues. Hopefully, after watching this video, you'll have a better understanding and appreciation for that. Now, there's another truth of project portfolio excellence that may not sit very well with a lot of folks, and that's truth number 38. It says most companies are trying to execute more projects than they have the capacity to successfully accomplish. After watching this video, you're going to be able to analyze your own company and determine whether or not you're exceeding your capacity. I mentioned in an earlier video that project request and fulfillment planning has been modeled after some of the planning processes from the world of manufacturing. And if we think of software project management as being analogous to a manufacturing process, we begin to see how critical some things like quality and capacity are for our success. Remember, what we're trying to do with project request and fulfillment planning is balance demand with capacity. In order to do that, we first go through the work segmentation process. That's part 4 of this series. That enables us to know in detail all the work that needs to be covered and supported. Then we can compare that to our capacity and availability to make sure that we have the resources and the time to do the work and maintain the quality level that we need to maintain. The concept of capacity for quality work is so critical to project portfolio excellence that there are several truths that are devoted to it. I'm going to review some of those now to make sure that you have a good understanding of what we mean by capacity for quality work. The first truth that I want to talk about is truth number 129, which defines capacity for quality work. It says capacity for quality work is the amount of work that can be performed while maintaining an acceptable level of quality. Acceptable level of quality can differ from company to company or even from project to project, but the important point is that the level of quality of our work is something that we should be seeking to control, not something that we should just let happen because we don't know any better. This leads to truth number 130. If you exceed your capacity for quality work, the result will always be work of inferior quality. You can't do more than you can do. You remember earlier I said that after you've watched this video you'll be able to analyze your own company and determine whether or not you're exceeding your capacity. Well, truth number 131 sums it all up. If the results you're getting are of inferior quality, then you are by definition exceeding your capacity for quality work. It is possible to have a capacity for quality work of 0. I mean, if your company is not capable of turning out projects with sufficient quality levels, then you have to start from scratch to build the capabilities that will allow you to produce work of acceptable quality. And finally, truth number 133 states that it's impossible to optimally manage a project portfolio if you don't understand your capacity for quality work. If you don't understand how much work you can reliably perform, it's going to be difficult for you to determine which projects or how many projects you want to try to execute. Now, you'll remember that in the project request and fulfillment planning presentation, we broke capacity requirements down into 3 different groups according to the 3 groups in the project triad: business professionals, technology professionals, and senior managers. You'll also remember from that presentation that we made the statement that it's the capacity of business professionals that usually becomes the bottleneck and therefore the barrier to project success. In the lower right-hand quadrant of this slide, I've included a simplified illustration of a project management life cycle. And even though the illustration is very simple, it does support the idea that I'm presenting here. And that is that at least half of the activities that have to occur in a successful project are the responsibility of business professionals. As companies have become more lean, Many business professionals are struggling just to keep up with their workload involved with daily activities, let alone being able to be engaged appropriately in project activities. And you can see above the illustration, Project Portfolio Excellence Truth number 33. If business professionals don't have the time or capacity to devote to project activities, your probability of success is diminished. Now, unfortunately, what happens too often with projects today is that business professionals are unable to devote the time necessary to analyzing the current and future states, to gathering requirements, and to writing specifications. When this happens, technology professionals don't have what they need to be able to do their work of analyzing and designing a solution, building and testing that solution. So what often happens is extra time is wasted when technology professionals circle back to ask questions about what they've been given, or even worse, when they try to fill in the gaps themselves so they can meet the deadlines that are imposed on them. This disconnect between business and technology professionals is what leads to project failure, or to projects that don't return the value they were supposed to and don't have the quality that we need them to have. And truth number 47, which is above the illustration, kind of sums up this idea when it says, neither business nor IT can successfully execute projects without the other. Given the critical nature of the relationship between business and technology professionals, it's up to senior managers to make sure that effective collaboration is taking place. They have to make sure that each of these groups has the capacity to fulfill their responsibilities on the project. They also need to understand that if resources become constrained or are unavailable, plans have to change and probably deadlines have to change as well. When you start down the path of trying to cram more and more tasks into a shrinking window of time, you end up with poor quality or project failure. All of these responsibilities for senior managers require capacity and that they be able to be engaged in the projects that they're sponsoring. And with that in mind, truth number 32 states that if the executive sponsor is too busy to be engaged in the project, you have no sponsor. And that takes us back to what's actually an earlier truth, truth number 30. Without an executive sponsor, there is no project. One of the easiest and fastest ways to weed out projects that have little to no chance for success is to look for those projects that don't have engaged executive sponsors. That concludes our discussion of capacity for quality work. A couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, capacity for quality work represents a hard constraint on the amount of work that you can accomplish while maintaining the appropriate level of quality. And if you don't understand your capacity for quality work, there's no way that you can effectively manage your portfolio of projects. I said earlier that most companies are trying to execute more projects than they have the capacity to successfully accomplish. The reason for this is because these companies don't understand their capacity for quality work. Until you put in the effort and time to understand your capacity for quality work, you'll continue to have project failures and systems that return little to no value. When I talk about this concept of capacity for quality work, one of the responses that I hear sometimes is, well, we don't have a choice. We really need to do this. Well, truth number 40 is the final word on that line of reasoning. It doesn't matter how badly you want it or how desperately you need it if you don't have the skill, the will, and the capacity to achieve it. To undertake projects simply because you think you need to is a recipe for failure. I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation and that it's given you some food for thought concerning how you're currently pursuing projects. If you have any questions or comments about the material that's been presented here, you can submit them via email or via telephone. You can also call to set up a free consultation. We'll discuss your goals and needs and whether Project Portfolio Excellence can help you get better results with your enterprise software and software-related projects. If you'd just like some more general information about Project Portfolio Excellence, you can visit our website at www.projectportfolioexcellence.com. Thank you.